if we look at the auto industry, it perhaps, I think, is a very concrete example of how this form of managerialism truly works, because they've built into the market so many incentives promoting a particular market in electric vehicles. They did it by subsidizing Tesla. They've done it by hurting with regulations on emissions and things like that. You've had it happen both from Washington bureaucracy, as well as even far more progressive policies from a state like California that carries with it a tremendous amount of economic weight. And so the dynamic to which profit and loss guides the way that it steers a market, it steers what is produced. They have done a wonderful job of so manipulating the factors that go into that profit and loss dynamic. Again, you are a winner if you're a consumer buying an electric vehicle. You are a loser if you buy a vehicle. And that's not even getting into the taxes on gasoline and all of the energy dynamic there, and the way that we have made it harder to create gas processing facilities that diminish our America's ability to fully utilize its own oil reserves, and et cetera, et cetera. There's so much weight skewed on both sides of this equation that it has created a signal for so many other car companies to rush into the specific market. The specific idea is following Elon Musk. And I do like that fact. The Toyota CEO, has this comment on they're avoiding that marketplace because they think that there's nothing wise there. I don't know. Maybe the Japanese really are smarter than the West, and their ability to figure that out. But so again, if Elon is the punky, guy who's trying to stand for the right thing, we don't have those sort of titans of industry that are willing to speak out with a confident voice to highlight what is going on. I mean, back in the day, some of the biggest benefactors for Ludwig von Mises, for Leonard Read, for the libertarian aspect of the old right in particular, were General Motors, right? It was major manufacturing and all that. And the way that they've been able to, the regime has been able to so co-opt this class with perhaps the occasional, the occasional example, right? I know John Mackey from Whole Foods goes around to the Students for Liberty events, and that's great, right? Fine. The Koch brothers, historically played that role in their own sort of ways. Plenty of criticism there from certain people, but fine. They made a big part of their industrial mission, promoting free markets and the name Ludwig von Mises and whatever. Fine, but that class is dying off, and very much in that process. And so that leaves you, who defends capitalism if the biggest economic benefactors that represent industry are all completely co-opted by this economy that this financialized managerial revolution has created? And I think that is creating a lot of the angst and the frustration that you're seeing kind of percolate politically on the right, that they're taking a more business skeptic, and perhaps more appropriately corporate skeptic viewpoint. I think often they are right on this, but the problem is that if you're not grounding these critiques back into an appreciation of sound economic theory, right? If your only focus is, Burnham Machiavellian politics, then you are missing a massive piece of this equation, because ultimately, if you own the libs and you succeed, you still have to figure out how to create and produce stuff so that your society doesn't decay and destroy itself. And that is the aspect here where, how do you promote the importance of industry if all of the great figureheads of industry are completely co-opted? And like that I think is something that makes that World Economic Forum sort of dynamic so scary to people, because again, once upon a time, not that long ago, owning a computer, was really cool, and the internet embodied everything great about society and all this age of advancement. And now, Bill Gates is viewed as a I think rightfully so. Like I'm not defending Bill Gates, but now if Bill Gates has become one of the comic book villains of the modern age, I can understand why it kind of forces you to rethink everything.